right, we're back. Another Celtics video. This time, looking at something from Keith Smith of Spa Track.
Friend
Keith
of the
was in
show.
Vegas during summer league, friend of the show indeed, and he wrote up some insights he got from GMs, scouts, front office people of different teams. And one of the ones for the Celtics, I'm not going to read them all because you should go check out the article, is about how the Celtics are not done making trades. Far from it, in fact. So he talked to a Boston Celtics person on the roster changes, and they said, still figuring it out. As you've noticed, we're still above the second apron. We won't finish there. It sucked to trade Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis because we loved those guys and they loved Boston, a Celtics front office exec said. But it was being brutally honest that we aren't on the same level without Jason Tatum. We'll be good. We'll be a playoff team, but it'll come for every team that lands where we did. You can't be over the second apron and not a title contender. It's just poor management from both short and long term. The frozen pick and pick dropping stuff is real. So basically acknowledging the brutality of the second apron penalties, how you can't really do it without having a chance to win a championship. And they understood that and they made the necessary moves and they went from there. So, but also more importantly, this part, we won't finish there. They're above the second apron now. They don't plan to be. That means more moves are coming no matter which way you spin it. Could that be just waiving or letting go of JD Davison on his non-guaranteed contract? Yes. However, that gives them very little flexibility. I would expect it to be a bigger move. And now we know that something is going to come.
Yeah, and it would make a lot of sense considering we haven't seen a Simon's introductory presser yet. RJ pointed out in the email. I mean, neither has George Niang spoken to the media either, so he could very much be on the chopping block. And we did hear like the rumblings last week that maybe Memphis was interested in trying to trade for those guys. Whether that's like something you should take as gospel or not is a different story, but there's some smoke around. The Celtics have been trying to trade those guys, and Simon's name continuously gets mentioned in trades. Like, the more and more we hear about what's going on with the Celtics, the more and more it seems like Anthony Simons is not going to be on the team when training camp starts. It just doesn't feel very likely. But looking around the NBA, it's kind of difficult to find a team that really makes a ton of sense to take him back and that can also accommodate the salary. Just looking around, like, I'm only doing it because I'm curious. Is Houston a team that can even do that? I'm asking a hypothetical. I don't even know if the answer is yes.
For
I'm just looking at the
Simons,
roster. For Simons, like, can they take
almost
him back?
certainly
I don't
not.
think so. They
Almost
are,
certainly not.
let's see, they are 1.2 million under the first apron and 13.1 million below the second apron. So if they were to trade for him, they really wouldn't be able to take back
I
more
mean,
than
the,
14
the thing with
million.
Houston for me it isn't even the can they do it, it's the why would they want to. They have Fred VanVleet as their small guard, and he at least he's a good defender. Why would you put a minus defender into a lineup that you don't really need to add that deficiency to the lineup with? Right, like you already have elite defense all throughout the lineup with enough guys to fill out a rotation. Like, yeah, you want the scoring, but that's why you got Kevin Durant. Like, I feel like you don't
Yes.
need to compromise your defense to add more scoring because you have KD. Um, and on
They
top
also
of that,
don't
like,
have contracts that are like, oh, yes,
exactly,
I
they
would
gave up
love to trade
the
this
Dylan
for
Brooks
Simons.
contract. Like, they gave up the Dylan Brooks contract in Kevin Durant trade, and outside of that, you don't really have any guys that you're willing to give up. Like, as silly as it sounds, I don't want to trade Dorian Finney-Smith. Like, I like that defense. I like that 3-and-D next to my guys. I'm not trading Steven Adams. Like, I just re-signed him. He played well for me in the playoffs. And those guys can't even be aggregated in trades just yet because they were recently signed. So, in fact, they can't even be traded until the 15th of December. So the guys that they would have to trade would be like Jabari Smith, Reed Shepard, Tari Eason, and or Shengun. And like that doesn't really make sense for Houston. Um, there's a bunch of teams who could take on the George Niang contract if they felt like it because they have TPEs. I think the Warriors were one, which make a little bit of sense, although they're probably going to get out Horford, so maybe they don't want to add too much extra salary to their books after they do make those signings. There's a few others around the league who you could say, hey, maybe they'd like to do this. If I pull up traded player exceptions page on Spot Track, I'm sure I can go through the list. Maybe there's some guys who would like the Sam Hauser contract if they want to give up a first in a couple seconds or a couple firsts or whatever it is. Um, So you could look at those teams too. Dallas has an $11 million TPE that would take in either Niang or Hauser pretty comfortably. Outside of that, the Pelicans have a $13 million TP if they feel like adding. The Hawks have one if they wanted to try to snag Sam Hauser. The Cavs have the George Niang TPE, but he's then gone to multiple teams, so technically they could try to get George Niang back with the George Niang TPE. The Warriors have enough to fill or to add George Niang. The Heat have a $16 million TPE. So if they'd like to add one of the two, they could make it happen. The Pistons have a $14 million one. The Jazz have 26. The Wizards have 13. Like, there's plenty of teams around the league who could take both those contracts without taking back any salary. The issue is finding a place for Anthony Simons, and it doesn't seem like he's going to be on the team when the year comes around. Like, it's been all the smoke. It's been they're going to trade him. They're going to trade him. All these reports. Mark Stein's been reporting. The Celtics have been asking around about trades. All reports from local people have been, oh, he's probably not going to be on the team. Like, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, that's just how it works. And is there a chance he's on the team? Absolutely. Like, stuff can fall through, stuff could not go to plan. They might not get an offer they want, but it sounds like they're actively trying to trade Anthony Simons. And the quote that Keith got at Summer League, kind of falls in line with that. Like, they need to give him the second apron, and that would help them comfortably get there and even get close to the luxury tax line where they could duck the repeater tax, although they would have to do that for 2 years in a row in order to successfully do it. But there's never going to be a 2 year period for them to do it. This should probably be one of the years. So I don't know where Anthony Simons can go. The Clippers are probably out because they just signed Bradley Beal and Chris Paul. So that doesn't make too much sense anymore. There are some teams around the league where you can maybe fathom making a little sense. The Magic made some sense before the Desmond Bain trade. Maybe they still want to do it. The Bucks still make some sense to me if you can find a framework that would work. I wouldn't hate the Timberwolves for him, but I just don't know how the money would work or how you would get him there. The Kings could be a team. I saw a mock Domantas Sabonis trade, including Anthony Simons, which I thought was a little silly because it defeats the purpose, even though
Sabonis
I'm a
going
Domantas
here.
Sabonis fan. Well, yeah. But you wouldn't shed salary. I don't know. It's tough to find a landing spot that would make sense for everybody involved.
Yeah, I looked at Orlando just because they're like one of the only teams that kind of jumps out as that being a hole on their roster. They do have Tyus Jones, who is a good get at the point guard spot, good budget guy. Definitely has some flaws, isn't a perfect player, but is probably going to be good for what they need him to do. And it also makes it so they don't have to make a move where they would go and get somebody like Simons and have to, let's see. So if the Celtics traded Simons to Orlando, Orlando is 1.2 million below the first apron, 13.1 below the second apron. If Orlando sent back Jonathan Isaac, which I don't know if they would even want to do, this is just a financial thing, then it would work for them where they stay below the second apron and Boston gets below the second apron. The Isaac contract goes through 28, 29. So if you want to be paying him
Kind of
15 million a
nasty.
year through then, I don't
Yeah,
really know what to think of 15 million. It's 10% of the cap
too
roughly. It
much.
goes down as the years go on. Uh, Maybe, but you're stuck to that money for a while. At the very least, it would be a movable contract down the line if you wanted to like be flexible with
It
your
it
roster.
is it is tied to games played. Isaac's contract, 8 million guaranteed, fully guaranteed. He plays 52 games, 25, 26. Or excuse me. Yeah, his 2026-27 money is fully guaranteed if he plays 52 games in 25, 26, or one day after the 26 moratorium. There's like a bunch of weird like things involved with the Isaac extension. I still don't like it. I just don't. I don't think that's worth it. It's just hard to find a spot for Anthony Simons, and there's no doubt that Brad and the front office are working and looking and have certainly more of an idea of interest around the league than we do. I like the Timberwolves for him. I mean, there have been
Yep,
rumors
I
that
got
Dante
him pulled up.
DiVincenzo could be a team. Um, I don't know what they would give up. That's the thing. Like, I mean, it would have to be Dante in a trade. It would have to be yeah, I just don't know how they get there. I mean,
If you're
like,
Minnesota,
yeah,
I
it's
think
tough.
part of it for you has to be, oh, I'd like to trade Mike Conley because Mike Conley is not a bad player and he's not in a bad contract, but he's 38 now. Like he's not getting any better. He had some flawed moments in the playoffs, if I remember correctly. Like he wasn't great for them in spots. Trading him, he's making 10.7 million. If you combine that with DiVincenzo, the Celtics still
Still can't
shed
get
some
there.
salary.
You still
And
can't
they
get
have
there
to
though.
match exactly because they're a first, eighth, and
The
team, right?
Timberwolves, yeah. So you can't get there, unfortunately. Um, yeah, it doesn't make sense because the Timberwolves are an April
Celtics
team and stuff like
could
that.
trade
It
for
wouldn't.
Joan Beringer too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Celtics wouldn't be able to shed any salary. I don't know. It's tough. The point is, more moves are coming. People who know more than we do are working on them. Niang and Hauser would probably be the easier way to shed salary, but it sounds like Simons is the guy they want to move on from for whatever reason, or for the reason of shedding as much salary as it can. 3-team trades can probably make more sense in that regard. It would just have to be ironed out, etc. But the point is, keep an eye on it. More moves are coming, and you can check in here when they do because we'll have a video. But let us
Can
know your
Phoenix
thoughts.
do it? Sorry.
Um, I
Phoenix
mean,
is below both aprons and below the
probably,
tax.
but why would they want to? You already have Devin Booker, Jalen Green. You just signed Jordan Goodwood into your
Mm-hmm.
guard rotation because clearly you like him a little bit. You have Dylan Brooks. You have Grayson Allen. You have Ryan Dunn, who you probably want to give minutes to. Like at that point,
They drafted a
who are you
bunch of guys
trading?
this year too.
I mean, like it would have to be like Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, and then the Celtics take on a ton of long-term salary without actually shedding any salary. Like it just, I don't know. I mean, in a 3-team deal, if you can offload Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal,
That Grayson
sure.
Allen contract is rough.
But then again, if you're looking for the Celtics to get actual value in a draft pick, the Suns don't have that to give to you in terms of picks. Like it's not like you can extract any pick value, even seconds, from the Suns. So it would just be pure salary dump. Which, hey, if that's the goal, that's the goal. But
And then it turns into Drew Holiday for Grayson Allen was the trade or whatever the
exactly,
return would actually be, which is not going to happen.
exactly. But it is what it is. They got to shed salary, and we'll see how they do it. But let us know what you think. Let us know if we didn't go over any Anthony Simons destinations or anything else. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment. Tell us what you think of the potential trades coming down the line for the Celtics. I'm sure you couldn't be more excited that they're trying to give up guys to save money, which they kind of have to. We're here every day. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. During the season, game recaps are up the morning after each game, and other videos like these are up in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and game recaps are up there. So if you just want those followed, they'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. This is your time if you're on the email train. We have nothing going on. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is Jackson NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance. That's it for us.
Tic-tac-toe.